Hello, welcome to our Niggle podcast. It's episode 9. The haters said we wouldn't make it this far, but we have done. Although we are something of a reduced field this week. So just 2 people joining me. It's our esteemed editor, Dan Murphy.
Hello.
And our still esteemed deputy editor, Mark Townsend.
Hello.
Apologies from James Savage, who missed his train back from London, where he was at the Mizuno product launch. And Steve Carell is...
Irwin Golf Club.
Where?
He's in St Albans.
Is he? Right. So they are working, I suppose, technically. So this kind of intimate atmosphere is made all the tenser by the fact that my 2 colleagues have just squared up in the final of our company match play tournament that started way back in April and it's just...
February, actually.
February?
Yep.
Right. The summer match play started in February and ended in nearly November.
October the 30th.
Anyway, it's just hurtled to a close on the 18th green at Moortown Golf Club. Of many a famous match play. How did it go? Who should we be directing our congratulations towards?
You can direct them my way, Tom, because the second time since 1988 I've picked up some silverware, if there was any silverware. So, yes, I think the tournament got the winner it deserved. It's been a shambles from start to finish and got the shambolic winner at the end of it. But it was quite thrilling in places and delighted to be the champion for 2016.
Tale of the tape, Dan?
Well, I think there were 2 winners today. One was Mark, and I congratulate him
At Mark Townsend NCG.
Congratulations, Mark, and very well played. Nobody I would rather have lost to. And the other winner was Moortown, who put us up today at short notice, and it was absolutely brilliant. We were worried that it was going to end in a wet field somewhere in the middle of winter, so we tried to sneak in the final. And Moortown were a brilliant host, and the course was in great shape, so that was really the other good thing about the day.
What was the score?
Mark won at the last by 1 hole.
Was he already up?
He was, yep.
Both par the last.
Yeah.
What, high quality golf?
There was some high quality golf.
Little bits of it. The first hole was not very good.
You made a 10.
Well, I don't really know. I didn't really finish the hole, but I had an air shot out of a ditch. I played 1 shot out of a ditch over my head and didn't make contact with the ball. And then fumbled around a bit.
Does that mean you made a 9 then?
Well, the problem was that while all this was going on, I was plugged in a bunker and with no stand. So I was standing outside the bunker and my ball was plugged in it. So even though I hadn't really played any golf for ages, but really all Mark had to do was finish the hole in any number, and there was definitely still...
Which is why I kept playing, to be honest.
But it got a little bit ridiculous because Mark was sort of getting to double figures and I still hadn't really had to hit it again. So eventually we moved on to the second and things did get better.
Then they started parring holes and it was fine. Right,
well played, Mark, anyway.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, and pictorial evidence is available at Dan Murphy Golf, is it?
Yeah, there are a couple of snaps that I think someone was taking a video actually at one stage, but yeah.
Excellent. So we have had some more feedback on the podcast since last week. Someone commented on our YouTube channel, "Why don't you film it?" We could do, couldn't we?
Is that called a vodcast?
Yeah, I think that's something different, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we will film it. And a friend of mine also said he thought it was quite good. So
that's good.
The comments have been raining in this week.
Who's your friend?
Charles Consett, poshest man in Britain.
Thanks, Charles.
Who will be listening.
Charles.
The Charles cast. So on the subject of where you can listen to the podcast, you might be listening on iTunes, you might be listening via our YouTube channel, you might be listening via our website. Wherever you're listening, please do comment, please do share it with your friends. And to be frank, iTunes is a bit of a dead end for us, so if you could bring yourself to watch it on YouTube or our website, that would be ideal. So thanks for that. So as we bounce along on this sort of air of positivity, let's get stuck in. regular listeners will know that last week we had a hugely successful quiz, which kind of laid a thread throughout the conversation. So we're going to revisit that. So you might want to have your pens at the ready.
Yep.
If you could add the number of majors that Tiger Woods has won to the number of majors that Jack Nicklaus has won, and then take that number and multiply it by the number of Englishmen in the European Ryder Cup team, just gone, and then from that number, take away the total number of Open Championships that have taken place to date. Then you will arrive at your winning number. Okay? So, you two have chosen a topic each this week. Start with you, Dan. Yours is quite juicy.
So I'm still doing some mental arithmetic, but I'll be with you in a second. Yeah, go on.
Your topic, please.
So my topic is the recipe for a good golf trip, or perhaps things to avoid on golf trips. And I'm just going to say straight away that it's all about numbers for me, and you can't have too many people. Well, sorry, you can have too many people on a golf trip. You do have too many people on a golf trip, and you don't need very many of them, and nor do you want to be ever to be playing in a group of more than 3. You might also say you never want to be in a group that is smaller than 3, in case one of the group is having a bit of a moment. So you need to be in 3s, and I would say the maximum number you want on your golf trips is 6, an absolute push 9.
9?
Yeah.
Right.
I've written 6 as my ideal number. I mean,
How are you splitting the 6?
2 3s. Because if you're playing a 3 and a 2, you spend 3 days of your life looking over at the other group thinking they're having a better time.
Well, I think it's got to be even numbers, just on a bedrooms basis. Otherwise you end up with this, like, who's going to have the single room thing.
Well, if there's 9 of you, that's quite good, isn't it? Because you can have 4 twins, and then the champion, the man with the yellow jersey, can get to enjoy the comfort of their own room.
You don't know 8 other people who play golf.
Oh, I'm just saying that some of the listeners might do. Charles?
No.
Actually, he doesn't.
The listener might do. I think 2's the right number for me. Golf. We had this last week, didn't we? In where it was, Ireland. Golf was the right amount of time. It's the right number of bedrooms. It's fine. You can do the crossword. You're not forced to socialise when you don't feel like socialising.
You are forced to socialise though with 2.
Well, you're not, because you sort of settle into the same sort of rhythm of like not wanting to talk in. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. You're, if there's just 2 of you, which is not really a golf trip, is it? You're on the same time zone, aren't you? The problem is once the group gets beyond, into double figures, then you have people doing different things at different times. So there's some people have just finished, but some other people have finished their lunch, and some people want to go out again, and some have had enough, and some have got a thirst on, and some want to go and get changed. Everyone's doing stuff at the wrong time. It takes far too long.
Different alliances form. That was a horrible thing where you and Chippers used to form a putting alliance. That was terrible. It used to make me feel awful.
Yeah, enjoyed doing that.
And me and him with the axis of lunacy for a bit. That was also bad for you.
Yeah.
2 is better. And bearing in mind that other people are basically only to make you socially acceptable. Like, ideally, you'd go on your own, wouldn't you? But you can't do that because that's just weird. Although my wife does go to the cinema on her own sometimes.
Not quite the same, is it?
No, I think it's weirder.
Then you're into the amount of golf to play, and I think I'm probably on the higher end of how much golf you should play. I'm well up on a golf trip for playing 36 in a day, but it has to be at the same place, and even that is as the years go by becomes maybe slightly too much golf. But I would still, if I was going on a golf trip, I still think I really want to fill my boots on the golf. That's why you're there. So I would say that 36 holes, but always in the same place, gives you a chance.
Remember that golf trip you organised to, well, it was supposed to be to Dorset, wasn't it? But it basically took place in every single southern county.
Kent as well, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, they're not really the same place, are they?
Hampshire, Sussex.
Exactly.
Well, that's the problem is with these trips is that you're always you're desperate to go and play as many golf courses as you can. You obviously want to play the best courses that you possibly can, but then you've got the balance. You're trying to balance that off against the travel, and you just end up with some days that are just not really very sensible, where you just never stopped here, and you can't really go like that and have a nice time. So unless you just back in peaks.
bad morning though, you want to go somewhere that's a bit easier, a bit more forgiving. Like we had a brilliant day where we drove from Boatgarden, brilliant morning. Then we all tootled off to Fortrose for the afternoon. It was all nice and juicy, and everyone played well. And everyone
Who played together at Fort Rose?
We did.
We did, yeah. It was
We
good,
raced
wasn't it?
around just before the rain came.
It was really short and nice.
It does energise you if you're playing somewhere different. If you ever had a bad morning and then you're going out again, there's something quite sort of like, oh God, here we go again.
Well, there's something more energising than a bowl of soup and a sandwich and a pint of squash.
But once you've played the first 3 holes badly again, you sort of, all the dark memories of the morning come flooding back. And I do like it. We've done this one trip where we played 1 round on one of the 7 days. That was the only day we didn't play 2 rounds. No one really knew what to do with each other.
Yeah, it's like dead time's no good. I quite enjoy the car journeys, though, that said. I think they're a real pro of golf trips.
Yeah, but you've got to, it's not very good when you have to go at the other end, is it? And you've like maybe got a bit cold and you've sort of seized up and you've lost all type of freshness or appetites or anything. You're a bit sleepy.
It was a nice little 20 minutes.
Yeah, any opportunity to have a garage sandwich is to be taken, isn't it?
Or a whippy.
A whippy, as what's the case in Ireland.
What's a whippy?
One of those ice creams that goes curly round like that.
You have to get the right type of garage though, otherwise you're not really in business, are you?
In Ireland, garages are amazing because they're like a deli, a whippy shop, and a garage, and like a proper supermarket. Not like here's here. So somewhere between 2 and 9 people. That's that sorted.
Yeah.
So 36 holes only if it's the same venue. That's a good rule. And never on back-to-back days, perhaps.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. And the other thing is there is a certain type of place that's absolutely ideal. So that at one extreme you've got like the Dormy House where you never actually leave the golf club. There's obviously that does have its appeals. Personally, a little bit claustrophobic after a day of that. But equally on a golf trip, just given that we're all golfers, so we're not really that great at doing anything out of our comfort zone. There's not always that much time, and I'm not really sure that city centres and golf trips are natural bedfellows at all. So
you always think they are, don't you? You always think you can have one sort of grandstand night out that involves going into town.
but you never really do. So
That's always the worst night out.
My ideal venue to be on a golf trip is in Deal. I always think that's like the perfect golf trip.
But it's impossible to Google, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't.
You ever try to Google hotel Deal when you're trying to find somewhere to stay on the Kent coast? Doesn't really get you very far. You can work that one out yourself, concert.
So
Charles.
So the good thing about Deal is that it's right on the seafront, so that's pretty essential for a golf trip. So you think you're doing the right thing. And there's loads of B&Bs and hotels, and it's just the right size. There's enough decent boozers so you're never in the same place twice. There's plenty of places to eat, and obviously, and it happens to be right next door to a couple of exceptionally good golf courses. So I'm looking for a small seaside town with a bit going on and some decent boozers, plenty of places to eat, and some places to stay. And I'm saying that is basically jackpot for me.
Well, apart from you missed off Curry House, because you always want to go for a curry.
Well, yeah, I said some places to eat.
Yeah.
By which I meant a curry.
But it's a strange sort of unwritten rule of golf trips with you that eating involves soup and sandwiches at lunchtime always, and a curry at 10:30.
Perfect.
That's the only 2 meals you're allowed to eat. Snack ticks are difficult, aren't they? Because you come off the golf course. If you eat too early, then the night out never even gets started, does it?
Yeah, there's a real balance here because you're quite sleepy. Your body's saying, "Give me some food," and you're thinking, "Plenty to eat now." It's been a long day, but it's a terrible mistake to make because if you just go and eat immediately, then it's just all systems shut down for the evening, and that's it. You've lost it. Equally, you will have to eat at some point on these trips because you've got to think of the next day. You're always playing the long game on the trip, so I guess that's why it ends up being a 10:30 curry.
I reckon I could pre-order every meal for you now for every golf trip we ever go on in the future, actually, and you wouldn't be unhappy.
Probably not, no. I'll keep quiet.
You're a man of habit.
We're all men of habit.
I don't think that's true, is it? So
Says you had a whippy every single day we were in Ireland earlier this year.
but that was my habit that week. I don't always have whippies, do I?
Well, you do whenever we're in Ireland.
I was disappointed we couldn't find whippies in Kinsale, that is true. What about the type of accommodation?
I don't care about where I stay at all. And if it's too nice, then it's waste, because you're never there. And you probably spend quite a lot of money.
But you, I know you've done this. We've all done this. We have all been off to stay at a Marriott or somewhere with some sort of spa and really sort of enthusiastically packed our swimming trunks.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
They've then never left the bag.
I don't think if you go with 6 mates, you're going to go swimming together, are you?
But you set off with intentions of having like spas, saunas and stuff at the end of every day. Never happens.
Well, yeah, no, ideally I would, but you sort of get carried away by the group mentality. If I was going, Dan and I have been for a swim together in St Andrews at the Fairmont, I think.
Have we?
Yeah.
Other hotels in St Andrews do exist.
If there's 2 of you, then there's less pressure to sort of go boozing straight away, and you probably do more things that you want to actually do. When there's a group, you think somebody wants to go for a pint, so then everyone just falls in with that.
How long should a golf trip be?
Oh, just forever, basically.
What's our longest? That one to the Highlands was pretty epic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
8 nights, wasn't it?
Yeah, that began on one Saturday and finished the following Sunday. That was quite big time, yeah.
Mark got injured doing an impression of Usain Bolt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Very loose impression.
And to this day has never played Royal Aberdeen as a result.
No, pulled a calf muscle.
Good impression, though.
Aberdeen High Street, taking down everyone.
We did 13 rounds in 8 days in Ireland. Probably too many, wasn't it?
No.
I mean, it like there does reach a point where you're just on autopilot and you sort of cease to remember what you're doing or why you're doing it.
At what age do you think you'll just go down to doing 1 round a day?
I think it's a 2-1-2-1 sort of formation.
I don't know what you do. I always think that because I've got bad back and just generally tired. But if I play 1 round, I don't know what to do.
But it's a real skill, isn't it? So if, for example, you're going to, let's say, East Lothian to play golf and you were thinking, right, I'm going to go on a couple of night trip. You'd arrive one evening. The next day, you might play you might play Kilspindie and the third or second course at Gullen. Play those 2 as a combination, 2 nice little short courses. And then the next day, you might do your sort of pomp and ceremony at Muirfield or Renaissance or North Berwick and get there early, do it properly, have lunch. So the whole experience takes 5 or 6 hours.
But the idea is to play the big championship and then fill it in with a nice Kilspindie or whatever, without being too patronising, to a course that's under 6,500 yards.
Do you have to have a trophy course?
Yeah, I think so.
You do?
Depends where you're going, but yeah, I think you go to these places maybe like once every 8 or 9 years on a trip. If you miss out on playing the big boys.
6. Dan reckons the loop is 6 years. It's a 6-year loop.
Yeah, I think you probably do more trips than I would do. But
if you are going to play twice in a day, you have to be able to get around the golf course in 4 hours, and preferably a bit less, because otherwise there actually isn't enough day. And we've encountered this phenomenon many times before, where you can't work it out because you feel like you got up quite early when you didn't really want to get up, and you haven't stopped all day, and yet still you've ended up finishing in the dark, and it's because you've ended up spending 4 hours 40 to get around the first course, and then you've driven an hour, and then you've gone out on another big course. And if the golf is going to take longer than 4 hours, I'm saying there aren't enough hours in the day.
Yeah, but you mean
I do think starting as early as possible, because you're going to feel like crap anyway.
So the world record for this is on an event that is a 2-man golf trip. Tom and I used to go on, called the Midlife Salver, which always took place in December.
I thought it was still going in it. And going on it like in 2 weeks.
Sort of spluttering back into life, isn't it? So we used to go down to Norfolk, and even though it was in December, we still thought we could get 36 in. And on this particular Friday morning a few years ago, we were there in the dark at Hunstanton, whatever time it was, sort of 20 to 8 or something. Got off first. Obviously, playing a links course in the winter, you fly around, quick bit of lunch, off you go again. And we'd played 36 holes and we're done by, about 1:30 or something?
Yeah, that's a bit of an example. I'm just going to Google daylight hours in Hunstanton.
But it'll tell you that it's light just before 8 and it's dark by about 3:30, won't it?
Yeah, it's probably the problem is what you do then, isn't it?
But it didn't.
What did you do then?
Well, we just pretended that it was now 7 o'clock and that it was the evening. But in fact, what we were doing was wandering around a small Norfolk seaside town out of season in the middle of the afternoon.
One year we spent that time picking the pears for Dan's Ryder Cup stag do. What we did, in fact. Still got a picture of the bits of paper, I think.
But the good thing about that is that you go early, and that means that come 9 o'clock, you basically can't tip any more beer into, and you've had your food, and you get to bed, and that's really good because then you can get some rest and you're ready to go the next day.
Yeah, you've got to go early, haven't you? Go big and go early.
Yeah.
It's funny beer, though, isn't it, in Norfolk? Because...
Yeah, they don't have any sparklers, do they?
Sparkler, do they? So
it comes out flat out of the pump, yeah.
Doesn't travel very far, though, does it? From the...
Tastes nice, but it's just a bit funny.
What's the best golf trip you've ever been on, Mark? The Cornish Masters.
I'll just point out to everyone that this is a separate tournament that Dan and Tom aren't involved in, so it's just general thumbs down from my colleagues. I think the best trip I've been on,
Mike Harris is
pains me to say this, is your stag do, actually.
Ooh, my stag do?
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
That's good, because I organised that.
Yep, from, going to the Highlands of Scotland, Tyne, Brora and Spey Valley and Dornoch. It was a good number, team event, nice length of time.
Some big characters.
Big names, some big characters, everyone was there.
You see, that was an ideal amount of golf to play, because broadly we were playing foursomes for half the day and four balls for the other half the day.
Greens, we played greens. God,
we did on one
sorry.
day. Now that is pretty ideal. If you were saying how much golf should you play, I would say that playing four balls in the morning, you play your own ball, get stuck in, and then in the afternoon either play foursomes or greensomes. Then you move in that much quicker. You've had enough of hitting shots then, so you just want to get around the course nice and snappily. That is a really good amount of golf for a day.
And you've got the match play format. Otherwise, if you're playing a week long, sort of 15 rounds or whatever you're doing, playing Stableford, that can get quite...
Yeah. So, that stag do wasn't ideal for some people, was it? Because it ended at 10:30 at Dornoch, and they had to be at work in London at 9 o'clock the next morning.
That was their own fault for not controlling their own logistics better.
Exit strategies from golf trips are a thing in themselves. Aren't
Yes.
they? But the format thing is that is a good point. So you are a big, has to be match play for you, doesn't it?
I just like match play, as I've proved this morning. I can't really do it, anything else.
Whereas we prefer the more traditional, morbid collection of Stableford points.
Yeah.
Over a length of time, you probably will come out on top.
Yeah, the basic thing
Being a lot
is if
better
I
at
can
golf.
keep you out long enough.
Yeah, just to make it clear, you don't win like any particular round. That's not how we do it. You just have to. It's just how many points you can get over the duration of the trip. So you just continually put points away again and again and again and again, and only the strongest survive by the end.
Which is you two.
And again, if there are two of you, you can sort of make your own rules up.
Yeah.
So if you both sort of hit out of bounds, you just start getting nines.
And you still write 2 points down. It's much more pleasant.
Okay, so I think that's that, isn't it? I suspect that people will be writing notes now and planning their trips for next year with that flood of information on how to do it properly. Mark,
Hello.
topic. It is quite sort of current, isn't it? Given that you've been involved in presumably a tense battle this morning.
Very much so.
Frayed edges, any nerves on display?
Yeah, I think most of my nerves, I've sort of long since realised I'm going to hit a lot of bad golf shots by being nervous, so I don't really mind that too much. It's how I behave before golf starts that sort of does my own head in. So it sort of brings out my OCD nature. I pack too much into my bag. I sort of get to the course really early. Then I've got too much time to fill. And I just do everything that I never do. Normal round of golf, you turn up 10 minutes early, say hello to someone, hit 2 putts, and then go and play golf, and it's fine. It's all very normal. When you're on edge, you do about 10 things before you've even hit a golf ball that are different. Like you go to the pro shop and you buy chocolate, which you never do before. I find I've got a bad OCD thing where I have to touch everything twice, and that comes out if I'm a bit anxious. So generally it doesn't. Only when I turn the bedroom light out at night, that's the only time it comes in during the day. But then I'm touching all my tea pegs twice, which is quite a weird one.
What do you mean touching your tea pegs?
I've got to touch everything twice. If I touch something once, then I have to touch it again. So if you've got 30 tea pegs, then it's a bit
time-consuming.
clutters your mind.
So sorry, I think Mark must be nervous because we haven't really introduced the topic. The topic is...
I just really want to get out there.
The topic is, what do you do when you get nervous on a golf course?
Yeah, how do your nerves manifest itself?
Just to make that clear, how do your nerves manifest themselves? Your nerves manifest themselves pre-round, mainly.
In my behaviour. Yeah. And I've played golf for, I don't know, 35 years. So you know that after 3 holes, you probably won't be that nervous. But for those 3 holes, I'll be a bit bad.
Probably pricked the balloon of what I was going to say, because I've got all this stuff written down about how I don't get nervous when I'm playing. I get nervous beforehand. You've already said it now.
It's a common thing. Loads of people learn from this. Then
I think that
learn from it.
Basically, and people tell us we're not allowed to say the same thing, but I think exactly the same thing.
I think 6 is an ideal number for a golf trip. So
I'm horrendous for it. I can't ever start a round of golf if it's like a medal round or whatever. I just can't. How to behave. I try really hard. I've tried loads of methods of organising myself to arrive in the right state of mind. So from being properly organised, drinks and waterproofs all neatly folded, and yardage books in one pocket, and blah blah blah. I just can't do it. And I'd actually decided a while ago that I'm best arriving to golf as a bit of a shambles, because it just
yeah.
But this came to a head in Open qualifying this year for me at Moortown, where I arrived on the first tee with no golf club in my hand. So I stood on the first tee. You've been to Moortown this morning. You have to walk back slightly from where you leave your bag. There's a guy there introducing you, says on the tee, blah blah blah. I was third to tee off. He got through the 2 players just about to introduce me, and I realised I didn't have my driver.
Where was your driver?
About 20 yards away.
How did you hit it?
Actually, at 3 wood, I did quite well. Sort of trapped it up the right.
The most stressful golf that I play all year is team championship stuff. Mainly because I'm always very much the third man on a 3-man team.
Oh, that's how you pitch yourself.
Stop it,
honestly.
Dan, you're not. You're better than that. You're better than Joel's concert.
So it's quite a difficult mentality when you sort of know that, because really all you can do is ruin it for the team, and your job is just basically not to mess it up for everyone. So you tend to be in quite a defensive mindset. And this year we were playing in an event in Sheffield, and to cut a long story short, at Hillsborough Golf Club, and to cut a long story short, we got there far too late, and it was raining. So there's obviously there's a lot of admin to do, isn't there, in that situation? And I thought, this would be good really, because it'll just mean there's just not time to worry about stuff. And in hindsight, it absolutely ruined me. I didn't have a pencil, which was really embarrassing. And I was asking the starter, did he have a pencil? And you'd have thought, wouldn't you have thought they could have just said, yes, of course I've got a pencil. Here's a pencil. But no, he just stared at me, saying, well, why haven't you got a pencil? And it was just that I just ended up being in such a taffle. I was still pulling my waterproofs on and stuffing already wet cards into the wrong pocket, and I'd never seen the golf course before, and it made me realise, because I was thinking I'll be okay here because it'll just make the whole thing feel a lot more normal. It didn't. I absolutely hated it from the minute I got there, and the day didn't get better, I'm afraid.
What you're saying, you need to prepare.
Well, I'm saying that sometimes you can end up doing a load of things that you would never normally do, because it's a big day, and sometimes you laugh at yourself on the golf course when your pre-shot routine changes, or you start walking around putts in a way you would never normally do, or having more practice swings, or whatever it may be. But this was one thing where for me to have any sort of chance in this event, I did need to arrive with all my stuff. Normally, you can pick faults in my golf all day long, but at least I arrive with the right kit, and I've got everything in the right place, and I know where my card is and my pencil, and I've got the right towels and my balls are marked up, all those little things. And that does actually help me settle down a little bit, so I won't make that mistake again. Conversation becomes a little bit like liquid coming out of a bottle, whereby it comes out in bursts and then not at all. So sometimes there are so many words and there's no time to get them out, and then other times there's just nothing to say, and it's
sort of liquid.
It's well, if you're like tipping wine out of a bottle and it comes out in glugs, doesn't it?
So, see, right. So it comes out too fast or not at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's precisely what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
That's what you did say, I think.
The metaphor's a bit strange, wasn't it? Because liquid's like different levels of viscosity, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think he made his point.
Yeah. So
how do you obviously like everyone else when you're nervous? I've never played medal golf anymore because I don't. But when I used to, I just in a chimp, the voice inside your head sort of never turns off. I don't have that at all. Just playing normally.
Are you getting paid by certain people to like drop in little things in this podcast?
I've worked with a lot of these people in the past. Yeah.
Steve Peters is giving you backhanders.
Hi, Steve. And then when you're nervous, that you're not playing well.
You just turn to your bioflow, give it a little twiddle.
All these things start happening again. How do you stop that? You're good players. You both play off.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Not very much.
Very kind of you to say.
You played Open Championship qualifying.
Got that in, didn't I?
Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
Well done.
Point one. Our routine's massive, innit? And I think that.
But when you're walking down the fairway, how do you stop that? That's when I'm all right over the ball. It's the in-between bit. I go quiet, don't talk to anyone.
Talk about anything but golf.
But you're just papering over the cracks.
Well, no, but sort of, I think it's like you have to habit form outside of the competition thing. So make it a point when you play any sort of golf to try and talk about anything else apart from golf. I used to find it very difficult playing golf with you and Chris Bertram. It's like real loving, isn't it? It's like sort of everyone's getting a mention.
Like there's only 4 people in the world.
I found it very difficult playing golf with you and Chris Bertram sort of 6 or 7 years ago because you overanalyse everything. So you'd be stood on, I don't know, the middle of a par 4 fairway and you'd be talking me through the potential pitfalls around a green that I could see with my own eyes. And I don't want to do that. I want to be talking about the football or something that's nothing to do with what's in front of me. Because I want that to be something that I'm controlling the thoughts about what's happening in my golf. I don't want you to influence it.
Yeah, sometimes when that happens to me, I find that the conversation is sort of still happening, and it's then intruded on me preparing for my shot, and then I find myself standing over the ball or even like mid-swing and thinking, well, I haven't really done my normal thing here because we've been chatting away about whatever it may have been.
Too chatty.
Yeah, can be, yeah.
So once I get a score going, I quite like it because I feel like the routine and everything has a purpose. Like, because if you've got a terrible score going and you're doing your routine and all the rest of it, you feel like, all right, plonker, because like, why are you doing that when you're 25 over par? If you've got a score going, it all of a sudden has some context, and maybe that's like a confidence thing. And actually, really good players just go through all of their routines all of the time. I find it harder to know what to do when someone in my group's got a good score going. I find it very difficult to know how to position yourself.
Yeah, that's probably a better question, actually.
I think I'm all right at that because I've sort of done it a lot more. You're quite often the sort of second or third person that your round's gone by the wayside by about the 7th.
You see,
You don't want to be too much of a cheerleader, but you don't want to not speak to them, and you want to take your mind off them. So I think
in some
read the
ways,
situation all right.
yeah, I get that, but in some ways I couldn't think of anyone worse to be playing with in that situation than you, because I know that you know. So every little thing that's happening that the 99% of people would never even notice, I know that you've clocked.
Who are you directing that at?
Mark. Right. Well, you wouldn't.
Why are you staring at me then?
Because it's a podcast, no one knows what I'm looking at. Talking at me.
Just for the benefit of the listeners, Dan is staring at me whilst referring to Mark. It's most off-putting.
And that's really bad. And in the same way as when we were playing today, it's like quite a strange situation because with most people, you're putting on some kind of an act, especially in match play. But playing against Mark's like quite strange in that respect because I've got a pretty good idea what's going on in his mind and vice versa. So you almost
yeah, there's about 10 unwritten things said on every shot, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's
different again.
Familiarity in that sense is bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
if I played a medal, I'm now looking at Tom. I would choose.
What's sit under the table?
I generally play quite well with you as a 2.
Yeah.
Whereas certain other, I wouldn't say Dan particularly, but other people, I really struggle. And I can basically sort of got a pretty good idea within one shot what I'll shoot by who I'm playing with.
Yeah, if you are playing medal golf, I'd say that Tom's a good person to play with because he's sort of quite regimented and doesn't get quicker or slower. He's not random because there's nothing worse if you're going well and someone,
thing as well.
you don't want someone doing something odd, do you? If you're going well, so really it's all about you in this particular thing, and then if you're playing with someone who starts doing weird things, like I don't know, they make an eagle net albatross or something, or they hit 3 out of bounds in a row, or you just don't need the distraction, do you? So I think what you're looking for from your playing partners when you're going well is for them just to be as normal as possible and just sort of do what they normally do without behaving oddly in any way.
Yeah.
It is hard though, because if someone's got a good score going, you're sort of desperately trying to clear the decks for them at all times, aren't you? And like sort of get your putt in and get out of the way. But I don't think that's necessarily what the other people want.
No, I don't think they do want you to behave
There's
differently.
a huge build up to every shot they hit.
Do you add the score up after 9 holes and say it?
No, I would ask everyone if they'd like a little rundown. Because obviously everyone, if I was playing with Dan now, he'll know exactly what I'm on and vice versa.
It's a very odd thing to do, isn't it? Like the score at 9 holes.
I would, however, clarify it in match play. And we're just going off topic, but it's interesting, isn't it? In match play, I always try and announce the score when I've lost a hole, but you never announce the score when you've won a hole, do you?
Yeah.
But also, through 9 holes in match play, I genuinely do think that is worth checking because no one's written anything down. And it can happen, can't it, that you've got you think that the match is at a different state. In stroke play, absolutely not. It's a really annoying thing that people do. It makes no difference to anything. Just keep writing the scores down, and you can have the argument at the end, can't you? If there's an argument.
Yeah, that's the etiquette thing, I suppose, isn't it?
But most people, I would say, that I play with, I think most people do this halfway add up for some reason. I don't really know why.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is terrible and also pointless. Are we finished on nerves on a golf course then?
We haven't really talked about nerves on a golf course, have we? We've all just sort of shuffled about the subject.
It's your topic, and you've like gone off in your pocket with this business about stuff you do before around, and then
Which you've repeated and backed up, so...
Right. So thanks for listening, everyone. If indeed you're still here. See you on Thursday, Charles. And
Quiz?
a quiz result. Okay, I just have to quickly work out actually what the total was. So number of majors that Tigers won added to the number of majors that Jack Nicklaus won. Multiply that number by the number of Englishmen in the most recent European Ryder Cup team, and then take away the total number of Open Championships played to date. What have you got for me, Mark?
Do you want just final figure?
He just wants the answer.
Just want the answer, yeah.
It's like a quiz, isn't it? 47.
Just to show the listeners, I've written down precisely the same number,
That's
47.
Actually incredible. Like, if you're impressed by nothing else, be impressed by that. So the total number of majors Tiger Woods has won is...
14.
And Jack Nicklaus,
He won 18.
which gives you 32.
Yeah.
The total number of Englishmen in the European Ryder Cup team were...
That was 6.
They were... Do you want to name them quickly?
I've written them down, actually. Westwood, Sullivan, Willett, Wood, Rose, Fitzpatrick.
Quite a lot, isn't it?
Which was more than... Yeah, I had to write the whole team down.
Credit to England Golf and their development team.
Yeah, you compare that to 2002, where there was only
Where
Lee
the
Westwood.
Welsh?
Was the only Englishman on that team.
And then that gives you a total of something, and then you take away...
192.
The takeaway from that, the total number of Open Championships to date, which is...
4 or 5.
Yeah, we just had the 145th.
150 at St Andrews.
Very good.
5 years. Not finished on a high.
It did finish on a high. So thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. People tell me we have got some bars on our Niggle podcast on iTunes, which apparently is good news and people are listening. So obviously the podcast belongs to National Club Golfer. We're using Apple iTunes to get our content out there, but it is a bit of a dead end for us. Our content's free. We're not charging for the content on there. So it'd be loads better if you could listen to this on our YouTube channel, which is under National Club Golfer, if you just do a quick search, or on our website, www.nationalclubgolfer.com. But regardless, please just keep listening. Any feedback or comment or anything you want to say, then stick it in the comment section on YouTube or on the website, or any of the myriad places you can do that these days, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Ring us up, write a letter, like pop in if you want, not you concert. But basically, we'll take it where we can get it. Thanks again. Bye.